Rush Permanent Waves. 1980. Suddenly, unexpectedly, without warning, no distant warning, no early distant warning, out of the blue, surprise, unpredictable, unanticipated, randomly, perfectly, astonishingly, shockingly, shock and awe. Rush ditches prog rock epics for a more appealing but still proggy, universal, radio-friendly sound. It's still prog. Okay, it's quite a change up from A Farewell to Kings and Hemispheres. So produced by Rush and Terry Brown, released on January 14th, 1980, in the dead of winter. The album cover, pretty cool actually. I read about how Neil designed this with the guy. There's a lady in the front, and her skirt's blowing up. A little bit racy. Her hair's in permanent waves. Okay, her hair's all wavy. There's a newspaper man right here. And there's the newspaper. Well, I think that's actually Hugh, is what I read. There's a newspaper, and there's this is supposed to be ocean waves here. Although, if you didn't know that, I think I read that. If you didn't know that, it looks like a nuke. It looks like a mushroom cloud, but I think that's supposed to be like a tidal wave. Okay. It's cloudy skies, so that's really different from Hemispheres, which is like bright blue skies. And then on the top here, you've got the red wave of their heartbeats. And I don't have the disc in here, but this is a remasters. So this is a Rush remasters. I just got it this year. In fact, I was looking at the picture. I got it a couple months ago. This is brand new. I got it on Amazon. And, I've heard all these songs before, but the remasters have this guy in it with the pentagram. So I don't know. I thought this was stage 2, and but that's like a stage 1 type emblem. That's okay. Whatever. It is what it is. It's got the red line on it and the heartbeat of the 3 members, I think, or something, EKG or something. And then it's got it on the back, and it's also on the disc too. I don't have the disc in here. The disc is in the player because I was listening to Jacob's Ladder. Okay. Yeah, let's just get right into it, right? The first song is The Spirit of Radio, 4 minutes and 56 seconds. By the way, that's all on the back. I like that. I like when they put all the information on the back, and I like when they put the lyrics in the cover, although I don't generally sit around and listen to the lyrics because when I'm listening to Rush, I'm usually working or walking or driving or something like that, and it works for all that stuff, but you got pictures of the band here. And it looks like they're making the album. Okay. So, Spirit of Radio 456. This is a concert staple for Rush. And it's got a very poppy but cool feel. It's one of the songs that I dig quite a bit. It's still prog, but it's more of a pop metal prog. And a lot of synth going on in there. WAPL out of Appleton used to play it a lot. Not a lot, but you'd hear it once, a few times a month, and that's probably why I like it so back, because those are my formative years in the in the 90s. I was listening to this. The song itself, I like the line, "All of this machinery making modern music." He's singing, Geddy's actually singing about synths and electric guitars, and of course these are Neil Peart's words. So he's singing about making music and playing it over the radio and stuff, and microphones and amplifiers and everything. And I like the line, one likes to believe in the freedom of music. That always stands out to me when I hear it. It's like really catchy. This is the start of a thread of freedom on the album, but this isn't a concept album, so I've given up the idea. None of these Rush albums are concept albums, except maybe when you get to Clockface or whatever it's called. But okay, so Spirit of Radio is a it starts with an instrumental, and it's a more traditional song pattern: verse, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and then there's an instrumental with an outro. My favorite part of the song is the outro and the lyrics that go in the outro, but also those two lines already referenced. So, um, at the end, Getty's singing. You know, of course, they're Neil's words. So when I say that, I don't. I recognize that Neil writes like 90% of the lyrics. Okay. For the words of the prophets were written on the studio wall, concert hall. Okay, and then he comes back, and then an echoes with the sound of salesman, and he screams it the third. He sings it three times, but the third time Getty really screams it out. Okay, so that's Spirit of Radio. Free Will is 5 minutes and 21 seconds, and that's the second track. This is another concert staple, and it's another one WAPL used to play a lot. They're basically a classic rock or a hard rock heavy metal station in Wisconsin. I never talk about one thing that's cool about WAPL is they'll have like a live weekend. This is not in my notes. I don't know why I brought that up. I like when I get into Wisconsin and they play, like, they have a live weekend going. I think that's fun. It's just all live music. I like live music, okay? Okay, Free Will. It's another concert staple. WAPL would play it. It's not one of my favorite Rush tunes, but it works, okay? Once again, the complex song structures are gone that we see on the previous albums. And it's a very simple but a cool song. But it's not one of my favorites, but it's good. Okay? It's solid. I like the riff that and Alex plays the riff at times and Getty plays the riff at times. They take turns playing it on their instruments, okay? Each chorus has a pre-chorus, and that a lot. What I've noticed is a lot of Metallica songs have that, but this song has that. The one thing I'll say is, even though it's not my favorite Rush song, the music in it does have a cool Getty lead during the break for the guitar solo. I think you know what I mean. And also the lyrics are excellent. Once again, Neil's fantastic. It seems really Ayn Rand-ish or Randian about having individual choices and free will. And the word choice is one of my favorites. I like the word choice. It's a powerful word. Because of its meaning. So, like, freedom, autonomy, pathways, being able to select and choose, and options. It's a power word. I won't go off on too bit of a tangent, but I write a lot of proposals, and I like the word choice. Okay, I've written a lot of them. The word choice is a strong word, and it's a strong idea and concept, and free will is right in there with that. So for a song that doesn't make my list of top Rush tracks, this one sure fills up. It fills up a lot of the time in the script when I wrote the notes. It's a verse, chorus, guitar solo, and then a bridge, and then a chorus, and then it's out. That's the song. So pretty standard song structure. Jacob's Ladder is the third track at 7:26. Okay. That's the best song on the album. At least for me it is. At 2:26, the coolest part starts. The da 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 da. I'm tapping it out. I'll try not to tap. At the 4:16 mark, I start to get the shivers and the goosebumps because the music kind of changes. And if you're gonna go back, play the song and just pay attention to the 4:16, right around there. I just get the And then there's an awesome synth part at 4 minutes and 40 seconds where right after Geddy Lee's singing. And then the best arpeggios you'll hear from Alex Lifeson while Geddy noodles on the synth at about the 5-minute mark. It's terrific. It's really powerful too. You know, the name of the song is Jacob's Ladder. I saw a comparison to Stairway to Heaven. Maybe I was looking at Genius or something, but when you read and analyze the lyrics, it only a name. It departs from the Zeppelin song there, where Robert Plant is singing about a lady and how she gets to heaven and the stores are all closed, and it's a pretty abstract story for the most part, filled in with some details. But in the case of Jacob's Ladder, he's writing about the sun peeking through the clouds, so the sun rays coming through. And if you've ever seen that, it's kind of cool. Like, if you've ever been driving in a car, this is what happened to me over the weekend. I was driving home, and it was like raining and windy and cloudy and sunny all at the same time. And I was driving, and I was in the shade, but I could see like I could sort of follow the clouds and vice versa. The clouds are following me. I was driving faster than the clouds, but you can see the difference between the sun, the beaming sunshine on the ground and the shaded part of the ground. Like, you can see it if you just look over. And sometimes you can actually see the sun rays coming through. That's a fairly labored metaphor there I just made, but I think you get my point. It's awesome if you're moving in the same direction of the clouds or a storm and you're driving. And that's not what Neil's writing about. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that as an example to illustrate my point. I know some of you out there take my words literally, and I do make mistakes and I make analogies and metaphors, but keep that in mind, all right? I'm just trying to make a point. This is a very unconventional song for Rush, and it's a intro and then a verse and then a really long break of like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it comes back to the bridge and the long break and then an outro. And if you've never heard this song before, you're missing out on artistic beauty. Just the simple arpeggios are great. I think that makes the song. Okay, that's enough about Jacob's Ladder. The next two songs are goddamn underrated for Rush. You don't hear about them much, and they're not played on the radio or in the concerts too much, but they help make it a strong album. And the next two songs they did on the Snakes and Arrows tour, the live, and they played them on the tour, and they're on the Snakes and Arrows live album, is what I want to say. And now I want to hear that concert and those versions. I haven't yet, but maybe I'll dial them up on Spotify. I don't have the discs, or I'll find them on YouTube. Entree Noose, 4 minutes, 36 seconds. Okay, track 4. I like the intro to the song. Geddy gets on a synth and he makes the noises that you'd expect him to make. And between this song and Jacob's Ladder, Geddy Lee has demonstrated and proven to be a master of the synth. And I don't want anyone to say anything against that. Geddy Lee's the master. And in this song, he's singing Just Between Us. Just between us. I think it's time for us to recognize the differences we fear to show. I think it's a great line by Neil Peart. It's a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. This is the most simple of all the songs for structure. There's a little break in there at the 3-minute mark right before the third verse. So it's verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But in between the second chorus and the third verse, and Geddy's playing some synths, and it's cool. Geddy's awesome. Different Strings is 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Track 5, okay. Written by Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson. Of the two songs I just mentioned, this one is the better of the two. It's more like a love song. Not that I'm into love songs so much, but it's a cool song. Rush doesn't have too many songs that make me like melt, but this is one of them. Okay, they're not like a lovey-dovey song band. It's a verse, chorus, outro. So even simpler than Entre Nous. There's a 16 bar repeat of the verse music before the second verse. I think it's 16 beats, 16 bars in 4/4 time. It's not a bridge because I think it's the exact same music as in the verse and chorus. There's just no singing, so it's not different. I think you get it. The outro is the best part of the song because Alex is tapping. He's doing the tap thing, and he's playing a bluesy style solo in there, and Geddy's thumping on the bass pretty hard. Natural Science is the last song. It's track 6 at 9 minutes and 17 seconds. It's frequently played on tours, but it's not, I wouldn't say a concert staple, but they do play it. I know it's on different stages. It's the next best song on the album, so to me it's song number 2. The song is broken into 3 parts: tide pools, hyperspace, and permanent waves. The band's really diverse in the song here between the time signatures and the tempo. So here's more like a prog, it's pretty darn proggy. It's sort of moving all over the place, and it can be a bit jarring at times, especially if you don't like prog. But if you're listening to this video, you probably love Rush and prog, so has a good effect on the ear, and that's why I like it. Songs like this remind me of why I like both Rush and Porcupine Tree or Steven Wilson. I'm not saying now you guys are gonna get your all underwear up in a bundle again, but I'm not saying it sounds like a Porcupine Tree song, but that's what it reminds me of, and I realize that Porcupine Tree came decades later, so that's just what stirs in my loins when I hear it. Okay, I think Rush is better at it than Porcupine Tree, but it's it's good. Tide Pools is a verse instrumental refrain chorus. Hyperspace is the second part. This is the part of the song that I really like. Okay, it's really where it picks up momentum a lot. It's a verse instrumental, verse solo verse, and that instrumental part. Okay, there's the part where Geddy's singing a quantum leap forward, in time and in space. Okay, that's the part I like. Okay, and then Permanent Waves is the third part, which is what the album's named after. That's the album title. Verse, solo, verse, break, verse, outro. Permanent Waves goes by pretty quick. But Tide Pools is the quickest part, and then most of the song is Hyperspace and then Permanent Waves. So that's the album. Permanent Waves. Little bit, pretty terrific there with the wind blowing up, a la Marilyn Monroe. What about Permanent Waves? ProgArchives.com gives it a 4.27. That makes it 4th highest ranking of all Rush albums on ProgArchives.com. That's pretty close to where I'm going to have it in the catalog. Where Hemispheres and A Farewell to Kings, those to me are back-to-back masterpieces. This one's not quite there. It's a little radio friendly. And although an end-to-end exceptional and enjoyable album to listen to, I think Permanent Waves doesn't measure up overall to those. Not to Hemi and Farewell. But it's better than 2112 and Caress of Steel. And, I sort of agonize over the rankings. To me, look, Aphid Guy, he made a passionate play for Caress of Steel over the weekend, and he got me thinking about it, and I was like right there. I'm right there with you. Hell yeah. But it's the splitting of hairs thing. Like, Caress of Steel, 2112, Permanent Waves. Everyone will measure these records differently between them because they're all so different, even though they all have that Rush stamp on them that's really strong. It's sort of like splitting hairs, but I think I'll put this one up. I think it's above 2112, but it's below Farewell and Hemispheres. So that's my review of Permanent Waves. Deserving of the word classic. I wouldn't call it a marvelous feat, or, it's a terrific album. I think there'd be a wide range among Rush fans about where this album would rank and where it would fit in the catalog. Um, 8 Foot Guy told me it's the best Rush album, but it's not his favorite. And I get that. I get it. It's because the songs and the writing are tight and excellent. But the emotional content of other albums will weigh higher. I'll weigh those higher than this one, okay? That's it. See you next time with Moving Pictures, probably later this week. Coach Plyo Guy out.